Hello everyone. So welcome to Yasumi Tech YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about one of the main topics, one of the interesting topics in software industry specifically. It's Power BI. I'm going to get an expert in Power BI joining from Brazil today. Today we'll be uh, doing the session for the beginners, taking a real world example as well. And of course, he will be joining some other future sessions, future live sessions with me after this beginner level session so that my audience will get to know what is Power BI. If there are people who are willing to come into Power BI and all, they can watch this session first, get ready and try the things and join. So let's listen to what Lucas is going to say. Lucas is going to explain today. There's one interesting thing he is going to tell us. So we'll move on to the discussion. Okay, so I went through your profile as well. So uh, I saw that you are the business owner for a company called LPA Solutions, and before that, I have seen that you have been working for Upwork and all. So to get to know about you well, can you tell a bit about your journey, how you came to this Power BI and all, and where did you start? And all?
Yeah, sure. I I started like my master's degree in Poland
Okay.
in 2017, and there I had the opportunity to work with some. I had some subjects related to data analysis, and I get very interested about that. I also did my master thesis about customer segmentation.
Hmm.
I use it more RStudio, and during my studies, I got an internship in some of the companies, and I started work with Power BI, right? Um, and then later I had other jobs, also sometimes related to data, but not really into data visualization. Then that's something that I like. So I decided to come back to Brazil and start my own business. And first, I decided to work like a virtual assistant, like to understand more about this remote work that we live
Hmm.
nowadays. And I was doing like mostly other tasks not related to data analysis, but also working in my in projects by my own. And once I start doing my projects, people start to see the importance of data visualization. And I got some consultancy companies that they called me and they wanted some help. All right. In Brazil, it was like my previous job. It was a market research company in real estate market. Brazil, and I needed to do some maps and some nice visualizations for the investors, and they liked it. They liked it a lot, and they started to think, okay, this is a good business. That's something I am able to do, and I started to learn more about this. And like for like more than 2 years, I am in this business, like self self-employed, like independent Power BI consultant. Maybe it's the more accurate. Then I'm helping companies around the world. For now, I have clients in many different parts of the world. United States, I have clients uh, in France and also in Brazil. So, and maybe why not in Sri Lanka soon? All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
mm,
because the nowadays for this kind of work, this you can work remotely. So the most important thing is to provide a good job. That's what matters, right?
yeah,
And it's a lot about creativity as well. That's something you have to understand the business problem. We're gonna talk about this later, but you have to understand the business problem and translate it into data visualization. So this is the hardest part, I guess. It's not more about technical skills. It's more about maybe soft skills, and
yeah,
believe me or not,
mm,
because sometimes it's hard to make this translation. All right, and because if you don't understand at the first time what the client needs, you're gonna waste a lot of time during meetings and recurring work. So it's kind of also a design approach, design related approach. So that's uh, that's not so easy sometimes.
mm. Yeah. So since I'm also in the tech field, I know what is Power BI, what kind of a help Power BI can give to our visualizations when we are doing projects. So for the freshers who will be joining for the first time and who will be hearing for the first time, can you explain briefly how what is Power BI and how the raw data can be transformed into valuable insights with it in simple terms before we move on to the business case?
Of course, of course. As I can see, like most of the cases, uh, they want to see real time data. Is what where Power BI comes in, and you can also merge different data sources. Sometimes the company wants to see their performance compared to a benchmark or other companies, for example, and we can combine that into one dashboard. And also, sometimes with the same data, they want to make different dashboards for different parts of the company. For example, HR department, they have to see different metrics than sales department, but we have the same data set or the same database. So
Mm,
um, the most important thing is to understand what really they need, and also other thing Power BI can do. Uh, it's reports. They want sometimes static reports, for example, for sales department or whatever, or financial department. They want weekly reports, monthly reports. That's something I did for these market research consultancy companies. They want like some kind of PowerPoint presentation, for example, but they don't want to do this presentation. It takes a lot of time to combine this data every month, for example. And the easiest way is to kind of automate in Power BI. It will save a lot of time. You just have to switch the uh, month name or year, and then everything is going to be updated. That's something Power BI can also do. So real-time reports or static reports.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucas. So what kind of crucial aspect you think Power BI covers when it comes to this delivery part, like the visualization, as you told, like every project, I mean, not only sales and marketing companies, like every tech companies need this. Finally, the top management need this kind of visualizations, whatever the products or the projects they are working on. So, what crucial aspect or the importance you see in it? So, I know that with the practical example, you can explain it more.
Do you want me to show the business case?
Yeah, if you prefer, we can go to this real world business case and uh, explain
Maybe
it.
because each company has different challenges. You ask about what are the crucial
Mm.
business problems you face in these areas. Is this the question?
Yes. Yes.
Well, it depends on the company, but nowadays, as I can see in digital marketing, I can say we can have SEO data. SEO data, like it's very important for my marketing team. Also, for example, HR, the turnover rate. What are kind of variables they are influencing for the employees to quit the company or to stay in the company. These variables are very important for them, and once you combine, you can also make some predictive analysis and so on. In terms of sales, is more about sales performance, how your team, for example, for sales managers, how your team is performing performing against other teams inside your company, and how is your company performing against other competitors. So, okay, I gave you some kind of business cases, like most common business cases in these three sectors. Finance is more about also about performance and more about static reports, monthly, weekly reports. Uh, so like financial statements, something. Yeah, that's that's just like a broad idea what we can do in
Yeah.
these areas. So
Yeah. So, shall we move on to the real world example? So,
yes, I can show you some example like for market research. Can I
mm,
share my screen?
yeah, sure. And how did you get those data? How the raw data came from that kind of things from that?
Yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Uh, Not yet. Yeah, can see your screen.
Okay. This project was about like it was some data challenge provided by Maven. It's Maven Coffee Challenge. You can maybe gonna tell you about the data set first. So basically, this challenge took place between February and March of this year, and the objective was uh, to give insights for some kind of investors, fake investors, because it was kind of just for this challenge. They made a blind test with about 4,000 Americans, uh, with four different types of coffee, and they have to fulfill a questionnaire, and for example, how they like these coffees. And the goal was to give insights for the investor. Let's say you are an investor, you want to build a coffee shop in the United States based on this data. And so about the data set, like as I said, 4,000 people. It's a real data set, right? They made this, and now you could submit your challenge over there. So before I started uh, any project, I asked three questions to my client, like three relevant questions. Who is my end user? Like, this is the most important question because I see a lot of useless dashboards in the market. And if you understand what's the end user, who is the end user, that's the most relevant one. In this case, who is the end user? The investor. You have to think as an investor. What the investor needs to build a coffee shop. What are the relevant business questions? So in this case, uh, he wants to see customer segments. He wants to explore customer segments, right? Because if you made the blind test, probably have different tastes, all right? So different segments based on that. And what metrics is he interested in? So basically, you want to explore these segments like demographic data and also how much they are willing to spend for coffee and what are their taste preference. What like if they like sugar in the coffee, if they don't like sugar, whatever. So these are the metrics that probably he's interested in. So answering these questions, all right, you can start thinking about your dashboard, right? So you can get some inspirations, like you can go to the Microsoft official webpage where you can see a plenty of dashboards, or Pinterest, or a lot of other web pages where you can get some kind of inspiration. But I mean, uh, nowadays, once you get more used to it, like sometimes you don't need that. You just need more, or you can ask your client what kind of reports or dashboards he's used to. That's also important because you know how probably he analyzed the data. I can see like from different ages, from different generations, they see data in different way. For example, the millennials compared to boomers, and also the Z generation. So they see probably they prefer different kind of graphs. That's what I mean. So it's important to understand this point as well. But in my opinion, keep it simple, as simple as you can. Depending on your audience, it's like in this case, investors, they don't want to see. They are not statisticians, so it's better to keep it simple. So here's my dashboard. Like after answering those questions, I start to think, okay, they want to see segments. These investors, they want to see segments. So I decided to do k-means clustering algorithm to decide what kind of segments based on their responses, like bitterness, acidity, and personal preference. There's a lot of questions, and for each question, for example, in this case, they have to say they try some coffee and they say, okay, this coffee between 1 to 5, how acid this coffee, and they place their answer there. So each respondent, I answer those questions related to the coffee, and they created segments based on that. So let's say you want to focus on segment 2, which is low acidity and high bitterness. You select here, and everything is going to change. This dashboard is more like real time. It's not like a static report, because the investor can explore different segments based on what he wants, and probably based on like sometimes he wants to build a more fancy coffee shop, and sometimes he wants to focus more in some low cost coffee shop. It depends what the investor wants. So he can switch whatever he wants. Let's say segment 2. What is segment? This segment has more than 1,000 respondents. 80% is male, 13% female. So in this side, you can see, let's take the general profile first. Number of children, age group, employment status, race, political affiliation, education level. So you can see the demographic aspect of this segment based. All right. So very simple. Like in this case, you can see the segment 2 is more between 25 to 34 years old. The education level, it's more like bachelor degree. Political affiliation, more than 50% are Democrats. The race is more like Caucasian, and more than 70% has no children. So you can think about more about your customer segment and build the coffee shop accordingly. Of course, this uh, this market research was made in some universities, and probably it doesn't take into account the whole America. So also it's important to tell the client what are the limitations of this data set. Always, okay, look, as you can see, it's kind of biased. Like, you know,
Yeah.
almost 8% are men
Mm.
who were interviewed. So I don't think this could be. The client has to understand like the limitations, right? So because if something goes wrong, he's gonna blame probably you. So, so
Yeah.
if he doesn't know the limitations, so if he
Mm.
knows the limitations, you understand. All right. Um, so let's say we are in segment 2, but let's explore. Now, how strong, how much caffeine, roast level, coffee additions, favorite coffee drink, uh, and between like those coffees they tasted, like what's their favorite overall coffee. They like more coffee D, and so you can see like the ingredients in the coffee D probably are better if you're gonna show to your coffee shop, and also how stronger they prefer the coffee and the roast level and the favorite coffee drink. For them, it's regular coffee, right? Reasons for drinking coffee. More than 90% it's taste, right?
Yeah.
And caffeine, all right? Mm, so you understand a bit more. And the most important, I think one of the most important things for investors are the budget, how much they're willing to pay for this coffee, right?
Mm.
Uh, so here you can see. And also, if you want to add some coffee equipment to your coffee shop, you can uh, you can see what kind of equipment you should place your store and how much they are willing to pay. Like, what's the 5 years budget for this segment? More than 30%, more than 20%, they are willing to spend $1,000 in 5 years budget in coffee equipment, which is good. So you can think about selling this coffee equipment to your store. And also, uh, monthly budget, like it's quite good. Like more than 60%, they are willing to pay between $20 to $60. So this is good. You can more or less like make some pricing to your coffee. And the second thing, maximum willingness to pay for a cup of coffee. It's more than $20. Like this kind of audience we chose, this kind of segment, is quite. They are, as I can see, they have a good income, right? So I think the way you're gonna build your coffee shop should be also kind of fancy to attract the segment you chose. And also you can see how much money probably you're gonna earn based on this data. Like for example, in this case, the consumption when they go for a, it's like when they go to a coffee shop, it's around 2 cups of around 50% of people take 2 cups of coffee. So if they're willing to pay $20 per coffee, you can see okay, each client is gonna spend on average $40. All right. So you can see how much money you're probably gonna earn with this uh, coffee coffee shop, and if you be able to pay the bills depending on the location and also staff and etc. So I believe this market research it could be useful even in like real cases. What do you think?
Yeah, so I have questions. So I can see now we have choose this, for example, monthly budget. So when it comes to the owners or the stakeholder to check for the budget, you could have given okay the annual budget or the expenditure or something. So in that case, how did you choose these kind of uh okay these are the things
So
I need to.
let me understand. You want to see, let's say you don't want to target your audience based on taste. You want to target your audience based on budget.
Mm, mm,
So let's I unselected segment two, and now we have the entire data. We have 4,000 respondents here. But as you can see, like you see 38% of respondents typically drink coffee outside. So you want to build a coffee shop, probably gonna select this one only. All right. So based
yeah.
on that, let's see. So we switch data. All right.
Yeah.
And now I want to have only the ones uh, who are willing to pay for more than $20 per cup of coffee. And then you can select here as well. Look, now I have 265
Mm,
respondents, and I can explore this segment
yeah.
again, right? It's filtered like 260, and then I can explore taste, and I can explore general profile, and etc. based on uh, maximum willingness to pay for a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
So you can play around. That's why I
Mm,
made it like entirely interactive. So the investor can play around and see what's better for them.
yeah. Yeah, I can see that. So can you highlight and let me know, like let the audience know what are the key formulas you have used when creating the dashboard?
The key formulas. Well,
Yeah.
this case it was more about design. All
Mm,
right, it's not like as you can see like the kind of simple dashboards. I just
mm.
included more uh,
So
like
elaborate.
icons, and design kind of stuffs. Like for example, these icons
Mm,
with coffees. You just there's a graph called infographics in Power
mm,
BI. The name is infographics. It's customized s- customized graph. So here you can see taste and preference. The one I did also with infographics.
yeah.
I'll show you with these coffees. All right,
Mm,
here. Also, I have made with infographics, and but the most complex one was this K-means algorithm. You can do also in Power BI. So there's a possibility you just add data to a table, and then you create groups based on that data. It's something not hard to do, but I think it was the most complex thing I have done in this dashboard. I haven't done any other, you know, kind of complex formulas this case. All right.
Okay.
Do you have more questions about this dashboard?
No, like uh, it looks nice and like basic information like to catch the eye of the audience, all kind of information are there. So anyone who would like to start, so they can start with a simple dashboard with the simple formulas. Yes. Uh,
Uh, yes. Like I don't recommend you like if you're starting.
mm,
Don't try to add, for example, a lot of icons
mm,
and also this kind of stuff can be made with bookmarks. Bookmarks sometimes it's a bit difficult to do, uh, but I recommend you to not like do not try to make some fancy dashboard.
mm,
Try to solve the business questions and solve the business problem. That's the first thing you
mm,
should focus on. Because this one it was more for a data competition. I had to show up. I had to show uh, more like impressive dashboard. But in real cases, sometimes you don't have to. You just have to make it faster. And it takes a lot of time if you're gonna add icons. You have to look for right icons, and also it takes much more time. So,
mm,
and I believe nowadays you cannot like waste so much time. Uh, Sometimes you need like a dashboard in less than 1 week. All right. And if you're gonna add so many fancy stuffs, it's gonna take you much more time. All right. For
yeah.
example, I will show you like some simple example that can be useful as well, which is this one. Maybe I'm gonna show very quickly.
Yeah.
This one I didn't use so many fancy stuffs,
Mm,
and I believe it's also useful. It's for instead it was from data competition as well in
mm,
Australia. Uh, at this company, Ausgrid, they provide they are energy supplier in Australia, and they wanted to compare like the incidents along the year, and I did like different incidents, just listed of them. Like this is a table, simple table, and these are the icons. Okay, not so many icons, but you don't have to add those icons. You can just simple add there. Um, and I just typed the information here, and also some kind of time series analysis here. That's it. The maximum value and the minimum value for each of them, under the median, above the median. That's what means the arrows. And I believe this can be very useful for operations managers.
mm,
They just can compare the incidents and see which ones they are causing more uh, loss to the company, and also they can see where they should manage and when they should have more people working in the peak times. For example, equipment fault, as you can see, it's occur more like in January, February, but not so much during September and October. All right. So this kind of information, it's simple, but it's useful. That's what I mean.
mm,
You don't have to be an expert, but in terms of technical skills. but probably you have to be an expert in understanding what the client needs.
Mm. Yeah, as you told, if we focus on the business problem and the business solution they exactly need, we can go through. So, for beginners who are going to just start with Power BI, what kind of an advice piece you can give when starting?
Um, okay, try to get a business problem.
Mm.
You can even create data. You know that you can create data within ChatGPT, all right?
Yeah.
Also, you can join some data competitions. Like, okay, it doesn't have to be like, even if you don't win or don't be among the top five, you're gonna learn a lot about this because you're gonna have almost the same business problems. In this case, this is a competition, all right? And um, it's what I recommend for them. But if you don't know anything about Power BI, just take some simple online course, like 1 week course, whatever. Like you can even find free courses on YouTube, and then join a competition,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
you see, you're gonna play around, you're gonna see your skills, and don't worry if you can't do something like some fancy stuffs at the beginning. Try to solve the business problem and add to your portfolio. Like start creating a portfolio. Like, okay, this is my first project, and you see how you're gonna grow after that.
Mm.
Like you build one,
Yeah.
join one competition. I'll say, okay, uh, if you see that you didn't perform well, and you see the feedback, because every competition they show the results later.
Mm.
They have the top five, and they give the feedback for the winners, and you can see why they won and how they win the competition, and you start learning from them, from these experts, right? So I recommend this, and also recommend you to read this book, like for the beginners. Sorry, I believe you cannot see my screen, like, but
Yeah.
storytelling with data. Storytelling with data. It's an amazing book. Let
Okay.
me write.
Mm. Mm.
Storytelling with data.
Storytelling with data.
This is an amazing book from Carl Nussbauer. It's a famous one. It's from most of Power BI experts.
Mm.
And also for beginners, it's perfect because you understand the concept of simplifying your dashboard
Mm.
as much as I can. Because, okay, in order to simplify a dashboard, you have to do complex things, to think much more before simplifying.
Yeah.
So I believe this is a good asset to have,
Mm. Okay.
right?
Yeah. So, do you think any previous knowledge is necessary when we enter into Power BI,
Uh,
or the skills for the beginners, if they have these skills or if they can improve these skills, what kind of skills you think you can suggest?
well, mm, I believe this three
Mm.
things I said. Like,
Okay.
first, do
Step.
some technical skills in, I don't know, in some online course or even YouTube videos for free, just to
Mm.
know how it works.
Mm.
And second, join data competitions. I can mention some if you
Mm.
wish.
Yeah.
Right? There's Maven Analytics. I believe DNA Enterprise, and FP20 and Onyx Data. They're the ones that I know, but probably there are much more in the market. All right, and you can look around, but I mean these ones are the ones that I have joined. So I strong it helped me a lot to grow in my career. So another thing, read books about data storytelling and data visualization. One of them, it's one most famous one. It's storytelling with data. All right. So these three things for beginners.
Okay. Is there any other specific certifications? I know, like, we can have some other sessions as well. Any other certifications, or you can recommend to the professionals, like who are or to this
Well,
tech field?
for Power BI, there's a PL300.
Mm.
But I have to tell you, it's not the thing you should focus. Beginners should focus. They should
Okay.
focus on like solving problems first, because
Mm.
the certifications are good if you are
Yeah.
looking for a job, if you're looking um, for some kind of professional certification.
Mhm.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Imagine if you have the certification but you don't know how to solve a business problem. It's it's something useless.
Okay.
It's like having a drive license but you don't know how to drive.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens like sometimes because you have a lot of rules in the uh, once you are doing the drive license, but once you go to the traffic jam, it's totally different. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So certifications are good, okay, but
Mm.
it's not something like beginners should focus on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Got it.
right.
Yeah. So it was interesting, Lucas, and about the session. I mean, about the business case and all the topic and the questions I had was completed. Now I would like to know, like, what kind of insights you have about the future of Power BI. How do you see, like, this AI and machine learning impacting the future of Power BI?
Okay. Uh, I use AI in my daily basis, and it's very helpful, right?
Mm.
Mainly if you want to make your work faster. AI helps you
Yeah.
to perform your job better and faster.
Mm.
That's my opinion about AI. Uh, but it doesn't. Cannot think like creatively in a creative way. Uh, so I believe AI will be helpful for automating tasks and making it faster and better.
Mm.
Uh, but they cannot build a dashboard from scratch
Yeah.
because you have to think creatively, and that's what I think.
Mm.
Mainly
Yeah.
when it comes to formulas and stuffs and also measures, these are AI. It's very important, but when it comes to design and more creative approach, it's basically useless.
Mm. Got it. So, is there any exciting aspects you are, like, you are looking for in Power BI in the future, near future?
Uh,
Any
it- it-
transformations?
well, I would like to add more kind of I would like to understand more kind of advanced stuffs related to AI inside
Okay.
Power BI because
Mm.
AI it's very helpful, as I said, when
Yeah.
it comes to automation and also make it faster. So I
Yeah.
would like to understand more about this. Yeah, and it's growing. Some field it's growing, and I will take some courses related to that in near future. And probably we can have this conversation like later. All right,
Yeah, sure.
because I see it's growing a lot. And
Mm.
if you don't know, I don't think AI will replace people, but people that don't know AI will be replaced. that's
Yeah,
what
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's what
so
I
we
think.
will have to go with the flow, like we will have to go with the trends and all. So in even in our like business analysis, business analytics part, we can use Power BI that uh, since we do use Excel and all for graphing things, we can use Power BI. So as you showed like this in with this coffee example, since like we are anyhow in the first phase of like understand the stakeholder and getting the requirement, if we know the Power BI and all, if we can build a simple dashboard and show them, okay, do you want this kind of thing, that it will be a value addition when pitching the clients and all. Um, that's what I felt. Okay. So as you told, like we will have to continue this today. It will be a recorded session I'll be uploading, but of course, with the next episodes, I would like to get in touch with you and get you for a live discussion, as I told you, Lucas. Um, that's all for today. Those are the questions I had, and those were the things I was planning to ask and all. So, is there any other thing you think you can add to the conversation? Uh,
Uh, I am, of course, I'm willing to have this live section with other people uh, around the world. That's
mm,
And if you have any suggestions, maybe I can build some demo dashboards for you before
mm,
this live session.
yeah.
So the ones that are more relevant for your audience, maybe people can write in the comments in this
Mm,
video below
yeah.
what kind of areas they are more interested in. If they suggest some data set, they suggest some business problems, whatever. So we can think about it and build something for next time. All right.
Yeah, sure. That will be good. So for you as well as for the audience. So if they come up with the sessions they have, that will be good. So thank you, Lucas, for spending time, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise with my audience today, which will be like published soon. Like in 1 or 2 days, I'll be publishing this. So thank you very much for joining me, like from LinkedIn and all.
Of
Enjoy
course.
your day.
Thank you for your time, Yasumi. Really appreciate for this opportunity you are giving me to show my work, and I hope to see you soon. All right.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye. Thank you everyone for watching my YouTube video today. Uh, Subscribe and stay tuned with Yasumi, uh, which will be bringing you the tech excellence. And also, I would like to invite you to connect with me on the other social media as well as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so that you will be getting all the updates, seeing what is coming next and all. And I hope the beginners or anyone who would like to know more about Power BI will stay with me for the future sessions. So Lucas is one of the experts I'm going to bring into my future live sessions as well. So try to read the book he was suggesting. Try to do some of the online work he suggested to do in the online platforms he was telling. And see you soon with our second Power BI session in my YouTube channel. Bye bye.